What's up, everybody? How we doing? I happen to not be Barry Trump, actually. Um, my name is Joshua. How are we all doing? I am new to this setup. So I'm gonna be trying my best, but they had me come through and hold it down this week. So yeah, hopefully this won't be the last time I'll be here. For those of you guys who don't know me, like I said before, my name is Joshua Joseph. I am a co-host on the Jam podcast. We record each week. We talk about politics. We talk about culture. We talk about everything that there is to talk about. And we're all younger. I'm 21. So it's a crazy opportunity to get to have here. But we got a lot of news to dive in today. Um, it's a heavy day. A lot of stuff is just taking place. This bill had just gotten through, but we're gonna get into all of that and more. Um, Hope you guys enjoy the show. Let's dive right in. Welcome back. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, y'all. Today, the House Republicans just passed the big abominable bill, or as I call it, the big BS bill. Right on time for Donald Trump to turn the 4th of July into a signing spectacle. And of course, they did some dirty tricks. You know how they be getting down. Starting with dragging out two 5-minute votes in a 14-hour marathon. Overnight, they pressured every last holdout behind closed doors until ultimately one stayed strong. That's Brian Fitzpatrick, which the year 2025, Brian Fitzpatrick being the only person with a backbone is ridiculous. And that's barely for that matter. Um, at 4 a.m. Eastern time, they closed the procedural vote 219 to 213, just enough to pass, which is very unfortunate, obviously. Sorry at the camera. At 5 a.m. Monday, Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries stepped onto the floor to begin to deliver what is usually just an hour debate. But no, instead, Jeffries took the opportunity to make those Republicans sit and listen. He gave them he gave a record-breaking 8.5 hour speech. He didn't just talk, he read story after story, testimonies from people who are about to lose their healthcare coverage because of this bill. Over 11 million Americans are going to be impacted. And let's take a clip. Let's take a look at what Jeffries had to say.
And part of the challenge, part of the problem, part of the issue as to why we find ourselves, everyday Americans, in this situation, is because of the dominance of special interests in this town. And this one big, ugly bill represents a massive giveaway to special interests in this country. And we reject special interests because our job here in the United States of America, Mr. Speaker, is to protect the public interest at all times, today, tomorrow, always, and forever. Mr. Speaker, that you got folks in this town talking about draining the swamp. Guess what? You are the swamp. You are the swamp. See, you're consulting the parliamentarian, I think. I said, people in this town.
Yeah, that record. For Hakeem Jeffries is a politician, obviously, and for all the things that you may be able to disagree, I think one thing that I find really important is how, as a black man, I believe I can relate to the fact that this bill does not hit everyone equally. We can't deny that this will disproportionately hurt people of color. And at the heart of this bill are tax cuts for the top 1%, in our nation, a class that predominantly favors white men. So the inevitable widening of the wealth gap from this bill will in turn widen America's racial divide. If we take a look, the bill slashes corporate tax rates permanently from 35% to 21%, a move well documented to exacerbate racial inequality. Last year, the Institute on Taxation and Economic Policy reported that 40% of US corporate stock is owned by foreign investors. So almost half of any corporate tax cut flowed out of the country, not to Americans. Of the benefits that remain in the US, White households will receive 88% of the tax cut benefits, which was similar numbers as what they did last time. Black and Hispanic households will only receive 1%. These are not things that are new or things that are out of the ordinary. This is fully expected with what would come of the Republican agenda at this point. They're not even hiding it. We see racist remarks come out all the time, and it just so happens that their policy also happens to have racist outcomes. I implore you to think about the fact that that is not on accident. We've seen the numbers, and we know that the bill guts 1.2 trillion from Medicaid and food stamps. Nearly 12 million adults and children are at risk of losing their health care. According to the Assistant Secretary for Planning Evaluation, Black people make up 21% of Medicaid recipients. This is breeding ground for worsening economic inequality in this country. I think that when you look at the track of how much Black people were stopped from being able to work certain jobs, from being able to have a lot of upward mobility, any economic agenda that prioritizes white and wealthy families while kicking millions of Black people off their food stamps, off of Medicaid, is something that's going to put Black people in the hole financially for even more years to come, which again, like I said, should not come to you as a surprise or think it's an accident. And yet, Mike Johnson had the audacity to pretend that he cares about diversity in his speech on the House floor. Let's take a look.
We, in our party, had a record number of Black and African American voters come to the Republican Party. We had a record number of Hispanic and Latino voters come to the Republican Party, a record number of Jewish voters and union workers and suburban women and urban voters. They came out in record numbers to join the Republican Party and the America First agenda with President Trump. This big, beautiful bill fulfills all the promises of the America First agenda. It is the people's bill. It is made for and shaped by the most diverse coalition of American voters in American history.
And it's not just folks of color. Republicans worked overtime spinning this thing like it's going to be some gift to the working class. They say that your tips won't get taxed. Okay, let's see what Mike Johnson says, and then let's see what AOC has with the receipts.
You got hardworking Americans like our waiters and our bellhops and our hairstylists. They're going to keep 100% of their tips and overtime pay. That is money they earned. It does not belong to the government. It belongs to them, and they deserve to keep it.
As one of the only people in this body who has lived off of tips, I want to tell you a little bit about the scam of that text, a little bit of the fine print there. The cap on that is $25,000. While you're jacking up taxes on people who make less than $50,000 across the United States, while taking away their SNAP, while taking away their Medicaid, while kicking them off of the ACA and their health care extensions. So if you're at home and you're living off tips, you do the math. Is that worth it to you?
Let's be real about something really quickly. AOC is somebody who does come from the working class. She's worked in the very restaurants that they pretend that these benefits will actually help. But I'm listening to this white dude in this suit, rich as hell, telling everyone about how we're going to save all this money about, capping it or doing no taxes on tips, as though that's not capped, like she said, $25,000. Meaning, I believe that's $100 a night if you work 5 days a week. That's nothing. While also removing people from Medicaid, from healthcare, improving, increasing cost of living, and I'm supposed to believe that this is like something that's meant for the working class, something that's actually going to bring the benefits that they say. Like, I don't understand. Was it that he was as a bailout? Mike Johnson? Like, I think that the issue being right is that the benefits that they have to try to pretend will actually go to working people don't actually end up there, and they have to do this in order to secure any sort of or save any sort of face. They all know that. Um, when you think of tipped workers, bringing up the first example of a bellhop shows just how out of touch you are. I think anyone who who is second guessing, who might not be super informed on politics, who decided that voting Republican is the answer, are probably actually thinking or live in a world where they believe that these people are trying to do their best, trying to keep people safe, trying to improve conditions for everybody. But you can see where the mindset is when I see Marjorie Taylor Greene chastising Biden years ago, wearing her fur coat. When I see Mike Johnson talking about tipped workers and talking about bellhops, they're not the mindset is not something that is for any of us. And I hope it's more and more clear every single time we see them come out. The debunking of these lies didn't seem to get through to the GOP House because, in the end, every single one of them, except Thomas Massey and Brian Fitzpatrick, fell in line behind Donald and his billionaire donors. Why? Let's just call a spade a spade. MAGA is a cult. They are a cult. Something Democrat Jim McGovern was able to call Republican Mark Alford last night. Take a look.
I urge my colleagues to put America first, support the rule, and pass the one big, beautiful bill. And I yield back.
Gentleman yields back. Gentleman from Massachusetts.
Mr. Speaker, cult much? That gentleman's poster says it all. It's not about American families. It's about one big party for Trump. It's about swelling up his ego.
Listen, Republicans know. Republicans know that this bill is immoral. Watch Rep. Brandon Boyle call them out for it on MSNBC.
I really wish that what some Republicans say in private could become public, because it's always, in whispered, hushed tones. I don't agree with Donald Trump. I don't think this is good legislation. I'm concerned about deficit and debt. But then they always look around and say, shh, don't tell anyone that I said that. The reality is, so many of my Republican colleagues are deathly afraid of Donald Trump. Just yesterday, or I'm losing track of what day it is now, but maybe about 36 hours ago, there was a markup in the Rules Committee, and you had a couple of self-described fiscal hawks on the Republican side vote against this legislation because of its massive increase in the deficit and debt. Well, now here they are about to vote for the bill, even though not one word of the bill has changed. They call it the Freedom Caucus, the HFC. Really, I think it stands for the House Folding Caucus.
I've seen someone just ask what on earth makes them think it's a good bill. It's that fear that they were talking about. Like we say, his own people talk shit about him. Trump is a buffoon. Trump is an idiot. Every time I hear him speak, it's like, oh, this person is actually barely coherent. But it's not him. It's not his intellect that they're fearing. It's the grip that he has on the minds of people because he sold them this lie and this fantasy that all of our economic problems are chalked up to the minority sitting next to you, who also doesn't have money, mind you, statistically. So where do we go from here? Oh, despite the bill passing, things still are not looking great for Donald. Even before the bill just passed, recent polling is showing that his base is starting to slip away from him. A new Overton Insights Targos market research poll shows that Republican disapproval of Trump jumped 6 percentage points from March to June. And that's not just one poll. The American Research Group now shows Donald Trump with a minus 21 net approval rating, down from minus 14 one month earlier. Somehow it's gotten worse. You've gone from a negative 21 to even a negative. That's not just a dip. That is a nosedive. That is falling off the cliff, so to speak. And here's the kicker. A Washington Post Ipsos poll found that 64% of Americans oppose this bill. Almost two-thirds of the entire country. It's bad. It's hard to get two-thirds of the country to agree on what color the sky is nowadays. So this is historically unpopular. I think let's if we take a look at how this is going to impact people once these take effect. I I think that again we have to highlight the inequality, the unfairness of it all. I think that once we start seeing people getting actually kicked off their healthcare, once we start seeing people going hungry, once we start seeing the public getting more and more angry about the fact that they can't have anything nowadays, I feel like the reflection in the numbers is also going to die. But I think that these protests that we continue to see are going to keep kicking up. It does not seem like it's a recipe for a nice, productive, easygoing like economic model to have everyone, millions of people suddenly stripped of all their benefits. Of course, there isn't destruction without Donald Trump and his frenemy Elon. If we I don't know if y'all remember the Elon feud, but just watching these wealthy old white guys go back and forth was insane to me. Elon has been tearing this bill apart, actually. And hours before the House vote, he took another chunk out of Donald. This morning, conservative activist Scott Pressler tweeted, "Release the unredacted Epstein files." And Elon responded, "Yes, the girlies are fighting, guys." And I feel like it. One of the things that pisses me off is that, yeah, Elon has to know something, and I wish it would have came out before the vote. But I'm starting to see this thing from people like Elon and from people like Marjorie Taylor Greene, who say that who epically criticize Trump one time and then fall right in line anyway. It's like you guys have spent millions of dollars of resources and organizing to get us right here, and now all of a sudden I'm supposed to believe that Elon Musk has a problem with the weird shit that Donald Trump definitely has done. But now, because everyone's kind of sat on their hands when it was working for them, we're now in a position where the vote has gone through. And I really wish that this would have came out beforehand, even though I don't know if it changes much. Cult such as cult thinking. Um, this is not where it gets. This is not where it ends. It gets even worse when we talk about ICE and what is in this bill for ICE and the conditions. So, for our last topic today, let's talk about ICE and one of the biggest fears, one of its biggest fears, the media. It's not just that they're afraid of the media, they're afraid of them communicating with those who have been wrongfully detained and telling the truth with their stories. That's exactly what's happening right now, more and more. In the case of Ribvar Karimi, an Iranian American who was locked up by ICE, reports have been released that while he was in custody, two FBI agents showed up to his home. And according to his attorney, Michael Shabani, they didn't come with evidence. They came with threats aimed at him and his pregnant wife. I told my client, it's best that your wife not go around and talk to the media. She's not looking after your best interests. Karimi was detained earlier this month and called a terrorist by the Department of Homeland Security and for serving in the Iranian army. Because we can just throw that word terrorist around to justify what prosecution of anybody in this country at this point. His wife, Morgan, 32 weeks pregnant, refused to back down. She started posting online, blowing up DHS's claims as total lies. She shared that Karimi's military service was mandatory, highlighting how he actually fought ISIS. He actually fought ISIS, and that their immigration process had been completely legal. A story that I'm hearing far too often nowadays. And then there's Adrian Martinez, a US citizen snatched up by ICE for defending someone else. Let's take a look.
Two Border Patrol trucks pulled into the parking lot. This man suddenly took off running. So did this maintenance worker. That's when 20-year-old Adrian Andrew Martinez saw what was happening and drove his car toward the ICE agents' vehicles. His mother, Myra Villarreal, spoke with Fox 11 News.
In the video, it shows that, he was trying to help. He was telling them, leave him alone. He's just working. And I guess they didn't like that.
In the video, you see Martinez roll a trash bin in front of the Border Patrol truck. There's a brief exchange, then agents rush in and take him down. Martinez can be seen resisting.
Now they're saying that he attacked them, so they want to press charges, saying that he was attacking them. But in the video, it shows everything.
Leave it to ICE to interrupt somebody's day, brutally attack them for doing nothing, for committing no crime, and then cry victim and be like, oh, they attacked me, let's charge them anyway. Martinez didn't stay quiet either. Upon his release, he spoke to People magazine, getting his story and the horrifying true details of these centers to one of the most commonly circulated magazines in the country. I always see People magazine in the line when I'm at the grocery store. I bring this up because think of where you see People magazine. In grocery store checkout lines, like I said, in doctor's offices, in hair salons, these are neutral spaces. Martinez choosing to speak with an outlet like People magazine could have had a real chance of reaching folks who don't normally pay attention to this or aren't necessarily politically involved. If you're just on your day out, you get to learn about a lot of these stories. Maybe, just maybe, it can pierce through to them. But while these stories are horrible and we're waiting to see what impact that can have, it is important that we continue to share these stories, shed light on them. Because if we were in an era that was not social media heavy, if there was anything that could stop them, that could cause them to get away with this, they would employ it. And right now, the biggest thing that we have to fight for our freedom is this internet connection, is these cameras, because a lot of people we see back in the day, even with police and brutality instances. There was a long time before they were able to be caught on camera, and we see just what change that can do. But despite the fact that everything is dark, despite the fact that we are not here at the brightest days, obviously, for this country, um, let's get to our emotional support moment. um we've reached the part of the show where we get to at least feel good about something. So let's be honest, today's been a lot. If you're overwhelmed, discouraged, or just plain tired, you're not alone. Lord knows I'm exhausted as well. But I want you to remember, the only way out is through it. We are in it now, and the only way we can get out of it and have a better world for all of us is if we keep on fighting. Here at Mary Trump Media, we're not giving up, and we know you won't either. Because history shows us that when people rise up and keep showing up, change happens. Certainly. And while we'll be right there with you every step of the way, we wanted to take a moment to honor some of the most unexpected but very loyal companions in the fight for justice. They've marched, they've howled, they've stolen the show. Enjoy this tribute to the unsung heroes of the resistance history, the protest dogs.
These are my top 5 protest dogs of all time. I hope you find them inspiring. At number 5, we have Buddy. During the Black Lives Matter march in Cincinnati, he politely joined the crowd, holding a sign in his mouth. At number 4, we have El Vaquita. During one protest in Chile, police shot him with a riot shotgun pellet. He wouldn't let anyone capture him, making veterinary care impossible. So local protesters organized a fake demonstration that passed by a vet clinic. El Vaquita joined the march as he always would, and when the group stopped at the vet, they were able to get him inside and treat his injuries. At number 3, we have a police canine who bit an officer at a pro-Palestinian protest in Amsterdam last year. The group was calling for divestment from any company that profits off of Israeli and apartheid. It seems the dog made a definitive judgment on who was the bigger threat in that moment. At number 2, we have Lukanikos. During Greece's anti-austerity protests from 2010 to 2012, he attended every demonstration in Athens, standing with citizens protesting crippling economic measures. He was photographed hundreds of times barking directly at riot police and getting tear gassed alongside protesters. International media dubbed him the world's most famous protest dog. And when he passed in 2014, demonstrators marched in his honor. My number 1 protest dog of all time is Negro Metapecos. He rose to fame for protecting students from police during the 2011 protests demanding education reform. He always wore his signature red bandana, defying tear gas and water cannons, and developed a reputation for attacking police officers while being very gentle with protesters. He was quite literally the police's biggest hater. When he died in 2017, his image became immortalized in street art across Latin America. He has since become a worldwide symbol of resistance.
Yeah, cool. Thank you guys so much. Um, let's get to some questions, some answer. Thank you guys for stopping by. I've been seeing some love in the chat, so I appreciate it. And those dogs are amazing and more have more backbone than a lot of people in the country right now. Thank you so much, Michael Easterwood, for the 5. Raskin Crockett, 2028. Raskin, I don't know too much about Jamie Raskin. Besides, he's been a crusader on the January 6th stuff. So we'll see what happens. We need somebody to stand up to people and fight. Dylan L. Max, thank you so much for the super sticker. Appreciate you. I'm going to try to get through to everybody's stuff. Nicole Archie says Elon knows what he did to help him win. Yeah. I don't think that Elon has all of a sudden developed some moral center. I think what has happened is he's realized that he personally wants to buy the democracy, and he was using the Republicans as a ploy to do that. Now that they're not falling in line, he's like, oh my God, these people are such bad people, as though you're not Elon Musk. Oh, he knows where the bodies are buried. Anthony Davis says, my wife was a young child when Hitler ruled in Germany. She thinks we are living a repeat, but instead of Hitler, we have Trump. A lot of similar things going on right now. Don't you agree? Absolutely. I 100% agree. I feel like a lot of the far right has gotten away with, for years, gaslighting and being like, oh my God, everyone's calling us Hitler. No one would call you Hitler if you didn't say Hitler-esque things. And the fact that this president has repeatedly like quoted and has people in his administration that fantasize, and Stephen Miller is directing our domestic policy when it comes to immigration. I wouldn't be surprised if we are in the beginning stages of a repeat, which is horrifying. Um, Cats, Amanda, and friends, is Joshua on YouTube? Can you link? I am on YouTube. I'm on YouTube at J William J, but my main show right now is our podcast, The Jam. I'm not sure how the links work, but I'm sure that we'll put them up there. But yes, I am there under J William J, same as my TikTok, and then my Instagram is also J William J 8. The Jam Pod, yep, link is in there for the podcast. Thank you so much. Uh, Big Bad Wolf says GOP equals today KKK. No hoods required. Yeah, yeah. I feel like that should be the energy that we're engaging with, because I feel like, especially in this era, given the bill just passing, we've been in a place where the GOP seems to do everything besides say the N word nowadays. And then when you get the cameras in the back rooms, you find out they be doing that too. So the threat level is even more, in my opinion, considering that there's a whole political like apparatus behind it. So, um, thank you, Agatha Mystery, for the super sticker. Appreciate you. Um, Lee McCutcheon says we all need to stay positive now more than ever. This is very important. Like being on the front lines of this, I'm sure Mary could attest to it as well. And being a content creator myself, it's so easy to become negative. It's negative all the time, and especially like in this administration. But I think having those people around you and understanding that we got to live and we got to see another day somehow. So let's take an active role in shaping that next day. That'll keep you positive. I think it's super important. Thank you, Donan, for the super sticker. Apologies if I say any of your names wrong, by the way. I'm trying my best. Um, Traveling photographer says take away their gold plated medical insurance and make them go on Medicaid. This exactly. I feel like it would hit much home, it would hit much closer to home and make people think twice if their healthcare was on the chopping block as well. I think the inverse approach should be taken in getting as many people to have that high level healthcare as possible. But if we're going to get rid of everyone else's, then there should be on the chopping block as well. Maybe that will get us to stop making insane decisions. Great job today. Enjoy your point of view. Thank you, in the middle of nowhere and a big 20. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. The love means the world, obviously. Charlie Bug with a super sticker. Thank you. Thank you as well. There's so many people in these comment. If this was my normal live stream like comment section, I would just be reading everything and we'd be here for like 4 hours. Um, all the Big Bad Wolf says all the GOP afraid of one broken down old man. Yeah, because that power of ideology is something, man. That's why we could be in the beginning stages of a Hitler regime, is because again, Trump is not scary himself. I'm pretty sure everyone in the chat runs laps around him if you talk to him, but there's so many people who are so beholden to the cult idea that standing up against him means you don't get reelected. So they're terrified, and in their being scared of somebody who they didn't consider serious 10 years ago, we have a lot of people have lost their healthcare. So it remains to be seen what they continue to do. Cats, Amanda, and friends again says that the revolution will be televised. Absolutely. We each are kind of now responsible for having our own uh revolution nowadays. And trying to bring as many people with and trying to understand that these attacks are meant to divide and split us all up. Catherine Ocon says Canada should come and claim the upper United States close to the border. 8 hours from Toronto. Not mad at it. They got healthcare over there. So, I mean, it's a nice little trip across the border when you do. Let's reverse it. Let's not do American Empire. Let's reverse. Let's go to Canada. I'm taking it. Happy farce of America. Yeah. Do y'all see it as crazy that this is happening right before like 4th of July? Charlie Bug, thank you so much. I feel like that's poetic. Like it's one of the most American moments we going through right now. Fighting for rights in the face of the oligarchs who want to continue to take more and more money. Um, Doodle Garden, loving how Joshua presents wonderful works. Thank you so much. This is my first time like hosting a show of this magnitude, so I hope I am doing good. But y'all been showing me love, so I'm gonna assume I'm doing this. But thank you so much. Um, Janichi, easy on the fireworks, please, for doggy's sake. So shake with fear. Yeah, my dog at home actually is like terrified of thunder and of fireworks. So, yeah, I know for the next few days, and be camping in the corner. We need more dogs that stand up to the authoritarians. I'm gonna get to teaching Ace. Um, Joanne Smith, stop drinking the Kool-Aid that they're afraid they all have the same heart. Yeah, yeah, I do feel that. I feel like they're afraid in a purely cold and calculated sense. Not that they're actually shaking in their boots at the sight of Trump, but because they keep their gravy train running money-wise, if they keep getting elected. So maybe they're not as ready to take certain positions, and then Trump forces their hand because they're like, oh, this is where we are right now. I think at the end of the day, they don't give a fuck about the people who are going to be impacted by their policies. But I think they're scared whether or not they're going to get their own reelection bid and continue to shill out to corporations. Because you know that's how they make their bread. Um, but yeah, there is definitely not no Kool-Aid. Mary Tramita, all done. Great job. Where can people find you? We are done, guys. You can find me on all platforms, mainly TikTok, Instagram at JWilliamJ and JWilliamJ8, respectively. Then you can find the podcast on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, TikTok, Instagram, all that stuff at the Jam Pod, or the Jam, two A's. Yep. Thank you guys so much. When does the jam come out each week? Every Friday, 2 p.m. So stay tuned. We got an episode dropping actually tomorrow. So yeah, thank you guys so much for having me. Have an awesome day or night, wherever you may be. And see you guys.